Alrighty, going on the road this week, division opponent. When you watch Detroit, you see what we've talked about with the parity in the league, and while their record isn't, certainly where they want it to be, they're in every game. They're playing down in the final play, the last drive. We've certainly lived that too, and so having played them already once, I have a lot of respect for their defense, how hard they play, the players they have, how smart they are, the way their coaches handle their schemes. So, I see it as a great challenge for us, especially going on the road. And we've got to get this bad taste out of our mouth from the San Francisco game, and so we've got to have a great week this week, and it really starts today. So, can answer any questions you have.
Kirk, I guess just building off of that, what can you say about the fact that they obviously haven't rolled over? It seems like they're continuing to fight in every game, regardless of record.
Yeah, they're playing really hard. I have a lot of respect for what they're doing, what they're putting on tape, and also their scheme and how they're trying to make it hard on offenses.
Kirk, Kene Nwangwu got his first offensive snaps after Dalvin Cook's injury and a couple kickoff returns. What have you seen from him just in sort of your limited work with him on the offensive side?
I'm excited about him. I'm excited about his future. He's already showed, everybody what he can do returning the football. It was unfortunate that he got hurt returning the football in preseason. Otherwise, we probably could have brought him along faster. But he's studying hard. He's a pro in the way he goes about his business, and he certainly has the athletic ability to be a great player. So looking forward to giving him more opportunities and really letting him show the kind of player that he is to everybody that's watching.
What differences have you observed in the past when Dalvin is in there versus when he's not in there, how defenses either stack the box or how they respond to play action?
I don't know if there's a consistent theme. I think it goes week to week sometimes with how a defense wants to play us and our offense, and even within the game it may change as to what they feel they need to take away. So I don't know that there's too much of a pattern. I do think that when Alex has been in there, there's still been some good production, and I would think that defenses have to honor that.
With speed like Kene's, what can that provide as far as a jolt for the run game to get back on track?
Yeah, I think similar to what he provides on kickoff return, the chance to create an explosive play and either make somebody miss or run by somebody or just make the angles that much more difficult, when he's running in space. So, you'd rather have the speed than not have it, certainly.
You've had a lot of big days playing in Michigan. Just being able to be back home, does that add any significance to that for you when you have those kinds of days, friends and family are able to be there?
I think it's a little different for me than just any other away game. Playing in Detroit does feel to some degree like I'm going back home. That's where our high school state championship games were played. I didn't play in one, but that's where you grew up dreaming of playing as a high school player, and so it's a little different than other away games.
It's been well documented. All of your 6 losses have been by 1 possession. How do you look at that? Do you look at it, hey, we haven't had a clunker this season, we're in every game? I mean, that's a positive, or do you look at it as a negative that we got to start winning some of these close games?
You just look at it for what it is, probably both. That we've certainly won some close games, and I think back of some of the wins we've had have been close as well. But you do know that if you're able to squeeze, a couple of those other ones out, you put yourself in a different position here down the stretch. And so, have to find a way to do it. And as Coach Zimmer has said, the preference is to not even make it close. That's certainly the first coaching point is let's not leave it to the last play. But I know our opponent this week, the Lions, are saying the same thing. I mean, they've been in so many games as well, and that's just how this league, tends to be.
You've been involved in such a roller coaster league. Roller coaster season with every game going down to seemingly the last play.
I don't know that I've had a season that's every game, every play, but I would think this actually feels more like most seasons than not, in the sense of how the season just tends to be, and it tends to be that way going into it in late August.
You find yourself in a similar spot to last year where you need a strong finish to make the playoffs. What do you think is different about this team or this offense that will ensure a better result this year?
Well, health is a big part of it. I think we got pretty beat up last year, especially on defense, and that made it tough. I think that, if we can stay healthy and keep guys out there, I think that really helps, and that is something you're kind of week to week trying to figure out. But I believe we have a lot of the same players that were here last year, and I think experience should, help and make you a better team, more savvy team, more veteran team, and I believe that can help us down the stretch.
Kirk, you mentioned on Sunday, that game particularly stung. How quickly do you transition from that feeling to looking at, 6 5-win teams with losing records are kind of in the same boat, and that you're still fighting for a playoff spot?
I think you certainly transition. You move forward, you start working. I mean, I have losses from years past, from college, that still bother you. When they're brought up or when you remember them, it still stings. But you always obviously turn the page and move forward, just like I have or anybody has their whole career. But we certainly understand what's out there for us, but we're going to have to play at a high level, and it's not going to come easy.
What makes one loss stick out in your mind over another in terms of, you say ones that still bother you, what makes one more significant than it does that?
That's a good question. I think plays where you felt like you're capable of making those plays, you'd make them in your sleep, and when you don't, it's all the more disappointing. There's plenty of games you lose where you walk off the field and you say, I'm playing better, I'm improving, I had a strong game. We didn't win, but there's a lot to be excited about. But then there's games where you feel like, that wasn't the best I can do. And those ones I think tend to, when you feel like you left something out there a little bit, I think that always eats at you.
Since you already played Detroit once, what do you remember from the game earlier this season, and what do you take away from a game like that to apply to Sunday?
I just think that it's a reminder of what we've kind of been talking about for the last 10 minutes, of how one play can be the difference in a win or a loss. You got to play to the final whistle, the final snap, and the sense of urgency and how we prepare this week, needs to show up relative to how that game went. Understanding that it's a very small margin for error and a very razor-thin difference between winning and losing.
Kirk, win or loss in this game, you got the short week coming up with a big game against Pittsburgh at home. The primetime narrative will come up. Do you think that that's a fair criticism that's always kind of been addressed with you during your career?
I'm so focused right now on Detroit and just trying to beat the Lions. And, I'm sure we'll get to talk to you guys next week, and we'll get there.
Kirk, just talk about the luxury of having a guy like Alexander Mattison. I mean, Cook missed 2 games, and you were able to win them both, and Mattison got 100 yards in both.
Yeah, we have a lot of confidence in Alex. He's played so much football for us, and I think he does so many great things at running back, with its run the football, protecting, catching the ball, running routes. So, it's a great comfort for me to have him back there.
You said some of those throws you make in your sleep. Why do you think Sunday was that didn't happen? I mean, some of those throws you do make.
Yeah, I think one of the 2-point conversion just, I may have rushed it, just short-armed it, whatever you want to call it, just wasn't on rhythm. Disappointing, poor throw by me. The 4th down throw to Justin in the back of the end zone, the ball was just too high as I was falling away. I need to drive the ball more than to try to put it up high when I'm falling away. That's only going to cause the ball to go even higher. And then I felt the last route of the game, the in-cut, the ball was just up and high, and felt like I needed to, again, maybe drive it a little more, put it on him instead of try to touch it in there, and should have just driven it maybe with a little more conviction. So, those were 3 that come to mind. There were a couple others that, you'd love to have 6 inches here or there, but you gotta learn from him and then be that much sharper this week.
Kirk, when you're talking about Kene and what he can do with his speed, there's a lot of guys who run really fast 40s but aren't necessarily as quick when they get out on the field. I mean, I guess what is that difference in your experience with guys you've played with, where you go, oh, well, he's run this 40, but then you get out there and you go, oh, he's not that fast.
Yeah.
But Kene certainly is.
Yeah, I think the term we'll use is football speed sometimes. I know that track people have tried to come out and run routes as a receiver, and it's a big difference between being straight ahead fast and being able to stop and go. And I think what Adam and Justin do so well, regardless of what their 40 time is they're naturally football fast, natural football speed in terms of being able to transition in and out of cuts, in and out of routes, drop their weight, change direction. It's a different kind of movement skill. Certainly a running back has to do much of that. And so you'll always take the ability to do that and be 4.3 over the ability to do that and be 4.6. But you'd like to think Kene, has both tools, and that's a large reason why he's been so effective, and why we're excited to have him. But I remember, whether it was Devin Hester, was a great kickoff returner. That's a guy who, it wasn't like he was 4'2", but he had an ability to never lose speed as he cut. And when you can keep your speed up as you're cutting, it's that much harder to bring it down.
All righty, thank you.